Welcome, class. Stephen Cook here. As we prepare to look at Psalm 23 in small groups and sections tomorrow, I thought I'd prepare this brief introductory video to the psalm to get us in the right mood for exploring some of its images and exploring some of the readings, interpretations from across cultures that help us access some of the amazing richness of this amazing psalm. I think you'll agree that it's not just for funerals. Let me go ahead and read to you in English Psalm 123, one of the best known psalms. A psalm of David. Is my shepherd. The Lord, I shall not lack. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside refreshing waters. He snatches back my soul. He leads me in paths of liberation, right paths, for the sake of reputation. Even though I walk through the darkest, deathliest valley, I fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me right in front of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall chase me down all the days of my life, and I shall keep returning to your house, the house of the Lord, my whole life long. Let's scratch at the psalm at a few points to provoke some discussion in sections. In verse 2, the NRSV talks about still waters, but these are probably waters of rest, where the sheep can rest, and they may not be very still at all. In fact, one of the dangers alluded to in verse 3 and verse 4 is that sheep traveling through deep and dark valleys could be quickly swept away by flash floods. Rain falling higher up in the Judean hills can quickly fill narrow gorges, destroying anything in its way. The traditional image of God gently restoring the soul in verse 3 in the Hebrew seems rather to be an urgent and intensive snatching back of the soul from the clutches of watery death. The psalmist's profundity of trust in verse 4 takes on many new dimensions when one visits the Holy Land and experiences what it's like to be in a deep, dangerous valley when waters start to flood.
So the sight of these flash floods and the geography of the wadi throws light on many of the phrases in Psalm 23.
Thoughts of sheer, shadowy depths of valleys in the psalm give rise to mythic and archetypal language. Psalmavit, the deep gloom darkness, darker than dark. To get a sense of how welcome are God's rod and staff, the modern reader should think of Star Wars images, like falling into a living sarlacc. Once these images of threat in Psalm 23 begin to become real for us, we begin to become more and more thankful that the shepherd's implements of rod and staff are actually weapons of incredible violence. What's key to know in understanding the flow and movement of the psalm logically is that the implements of the shepherd were also traditional symbols of royal power. The mesheneth, the crook or long staff, and the shevet, the club or scepter rod across the ancient Near East were symbols wielded by the ruler, the monarch. This particular artifact is the Stele of Nacht from about 2000 BCE. It's presently in the Toledo Museum of Art. Well, one of those in the seats has just told me that my shirt is interacting strangely with the cameras. So I apologize for that. I'm not actually electrified at the moment. But let's pause our probes into Psalm 23 here. We've scratched the surface at several points, and that should give us some grist for the mill of discussion in sections. I'll end this with a little faith life animation of Psalm 23, but if you're pressed for time, this concludes the academic portion of the video. Thanks for watching and paying attention, and I hope you enjoy further study of Psalm 23. It's an amazing piece of scripture.
Brr.